Part of the same series as Skyrim. I'm sure some of you are familiar with Skyrim. This is an extremely dense run filled with tons of glitches, tons of menuing, navigation, all sorts of stuff, also tons of lore. So I'm actually going to be mostly focusing on going fast today, but I do have a couple of co-commentators with me. Do you two want to introduce yourselves?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Zabogo. I also run this category of Morrowind.
And I'm Alec-K47. I looked into running the game a long time ago, even got myself a 1.0 version of this game, but instead I just ended up doing commentary when no one else was able to, or all the runners were actively racing. So I've been doing this for a while, and that's why I'm here.
Awesome. So we're going to get mostly into the run. Time hasn't started just yet. Time is going to start when I have full character control. This is St. Geob. This is about all we'll be seeing of St. Geob.
Yeah, he despawns when we leave. The boat disappears.
Yep, boat just goes away and Geob goes off on his own adventures. All right, time will start in 3, 2, 1, go.
So the first thing to note is that this guard is actually hard to get around. So very nice job doing that there.
I got guard skip in the marathon.
Yep. Hard to skip in the game.
I can't argue with that. It's actually really hard. So moving at a diagonal is faster, so he's going to be doing that most of the time. At a certain point, it kind of becomes diminishing returns, but more importantly, he's picking red guard, and he's going to make a custom class for a couple things, including selecting speechcraft as a minor skill to level it, because he needs to level up a couple times in order to progress the main quest later on, picking the steed to go faster in the beginning part of the run.
Worth noting about the beginning part of the run is we're actually basically watching. So this is the long category of Morrowind speedruns. It's about 20 minutes long. We're going to do every main quest in order. The short category is about 2.5 minutes long. And we're actually going to do the first 2 minutes of any percent, basically. And then beat the whole rest of the game and then come back and do the last 30 seconds of it. So right now, this setup here is letting us kind of get established in the game, letting us get some free money by stealing a plate and then ignoring the guards and picking it up again because cops don't have object permanence, to pick up the items that we need in order to... The only items you need to beat the game, actually, which is 3 scrolls or 3 potions and some scrolls.
Yeah, there's definitely more you can do. It also varies a little bit on which version of the game you're running. There are actually 3 different routes for this category. There's one based off of 1.0, one based off Game of the Year, and then the fastest one, which is this, where you patch the game mid-run. Meanwhile, heading over here to Tar Heel, he's going to fall from the sky, screaming. Amusingly enough, the scream is actually centered on your character, so it's the same volume no matter what.
Also amusingly, Tar Heel is an Easter egg about college basketball. This game is full of them, believe it or not. So we're buying a couple. Digital's buying a couple potions, and then you're going to see the first ridiculous jump of the game. This is actually intended. This is an Easter egg item that lets you fortify your acrobatic skill up to 1,000, so you can jump basically forever as long as you don't care about surviving your landing. But by precisely manipulating the timing of this jump and recasting the scroll, Daredevil can actually land in the front door of one of the last dungeons in the game in order to get the items that will let him completely break Morrowind wide open.
So basically what he's doing here is he's grabbing the 2 main artifacts as well as a non-magical weapon, because he needs the non-magical weapon in order to not always be equipping a weapon that would kill him if it's equipped for too long. But in the 1.0 version of the game, as you can see, his stats are getting rather absurd here when he's swapping weapons really fast. That's why we start on 1.0, and so he just used another glitch there with a lockpick. It has no assigned damage value, so if you finish a swing with the lockpick, the game's just like, okay, well, instead of crashing, we're going to kill this enemy. And now he's loading up this same save that he just made in the Game of the Year edition because he has all the stats he wants. So he has Sunder, he has Keening, and he is very, very stat buffed.
Functionally immortal, and also fast enough that if he runs backwards into a wall while tapping the quick save key, the wall will cease to acknowledge its own existence and just let him go out of bounds.
Physics don't exist when you have 3,000 speed.
No, nothing exists. Well, the physics don't exist anyway, but they extremely don't exist at 3,000 speed. Yeah, so we're going to spend a lot of this run out of bounds. Daredevil, I think this run goes out of bounds something like 50 times, 55
that sounds
times,
about
something
right.
like that. I counted at one point. So we're going to be flying around out of bounds a lot. We're going to kill people from out of bounds so that it doesn't count as a crime. We're going to steal items from out of bounds so that no one notices they're gone. A large portion of the Morrowind run occurs in the vague skybox colored void in between worlds. So the next glitch that we're setting up here is really useful for skipping escort quests, among other things. And it's like fairly complicated. And one of the oldest glitches in the run, by creating a buff spell that has multiple effects with no duration and one effect with no effect and no duration, that buff spell becomes permanent. So Daredevil's going to be able to permanently make himself have a higher personality and permanently make NPCs faster just by casting the spell, which is named 45 traditionally. And they go on the hotkeys, and it's time to party. This is almost all the setup that you need in order to beat every quest in the game.
Yeah, the spells that he grabs are actually pretty important. So you can see he's doing Mark and Recall a lot. That's just to teleport around the island of Vardenfell and do things as efficiently as possible. Some of this stuff, like grabbing that skull, he didn't technically know he needed it yet, and that's going to be the case for a lot of stuff. The canon order that you're supposed to do things, which has already completely fallen apart, is only going to be torn to even smaller shreds. But he's getting some of this early stuff here because doing some of these earlier quests and grabbing some of those items is just efficient right now. So here he's grabbing a puzzle cube. He already has the thing for the quest after that, and rather quickly teleporting back to Balmora.
There are two more. Yeah, there's going to be two more setup pieces that are going to happen here. The first is that he needs to get to level 3, which he's going to do by very rapidly talking to our friend Caius here and training his speechcraft up. The other thing that he's going to do is he is going to, in just a second, be enchanting a pair of shoes to override or actually underflow NPC AI values to make escort quest NPCs think that the quest has already been finished when in fact it hasn't been started. And so there are a lot of NPCs. Escort quests obviously are the worst. No speedrunner likes escort quests. So by setting up,
likes escort quests.
Nobody likes escort quests, honestly. So by hitting NPCs in the face with these magic shoes, he's going to be able to skip almost every escort quest in the game, because these shoes are designed to make a hostile NPC friendly or a friendly NPC follow you. But by hitting an NPC with them twice before the effect is expired, you can actually take their disposition up another step to, you've already finished my quest, which we'll use to save a couple of NPCs from dire situations without actually helping them at all.
Unfortunately, it doesn't mean you get to see an Argonian running very fast, which is quite amusing. But
yes.
It's faster
he makes his own way to the bookstore. He realized he didn't need you at all.
The real bookstore is the friends we made along the way.
And the shoes we hit him in the face with. So sleeping in your boss's bed is the fastest way to level up, but if you touch his pillow, he'll attack you, and that'll break the run. So got to be careful when you're taking a nap in Morrowind.
Very careful.
And we're off to the big city.
That's stealing the pillow.
You have to curl up on the foot of his bed like a cat. If you're like sleeping on the pillow, it's a crime. So this is the Argonian. He's in a bar. He doesn't want to be in this bar. This bar is full of racists. But by hitting him in the face with our shoes, he forgets that, and he tells us what we need to know. The other thing we're going to do here is we're going to shoot some NPCs from out of bounds. This is the first of many people who are going to die, come down with a chronic case of arrow in the skull from the sky. You'll notice there's a delay after you kill NPCs. This game handles damage in a very funny way. After you kill an enemy, it reduces their health to 0, and then plays their death animation, and then updates the script of their death. So it is possible to kill an NPC and leave the zone too fast, and they'll be stuck forever in a half-dying state until you re-enter the zone and watch them finish dying. So it is very possible to lose runs. I've lost something to the tune of 4 or 5 minutes trying to figure out which NPC didn't finish dying. So as Daredevil kills NPCs through this run, you'll watch he'll stick around in the room and wait for them to finish keeling over before leaving, even though it seems like he's wasting time.
I've lost runs to that too.
We've all lost
Or
runs
lost
to
minutes to that. Yep.
Yeah. It's the worst. You get to that last split and you're like, which one of these Telvannis is not dead? And it's like 3 of them.
Yeah, the theme of the Telvanni Hortator quest line is you're basically expected to kill most of them, and you do kill most of them.
Yeah, so this quest we're on now is extremely long. It's got a bunch of stages. We're about 20 hours into a casual playthrough, I'd say. But we know where the last stage is, which is this bow in this tomb here. And we know the answer to the riddle, which is 6 a.m. So by grabbing the bow and then talking to Grandma, we can cut off one of the longest quest chains in the entire game, actually. So here's the ghost. We're going to kill the ghost, grab the bow, give the bow to the kid, talk to Grandma, tell her it's 6 a.m., go fly to the magic door of the Temple of Dawn and Dusk, be given the ring that's supposed to cap off this quest chain. And so we've done one of the major quests of Morrowind in like a minute and a half, just by knowing where the objectives are.
We're speedrunners.
Yeah, we cheat.
Well,
a little bit. Now and then, here and there.
Look, clairvoyance is a useful skill sometimes.
Yeah. So yeah, 6 a.m. is the secret to the riddle. And so Daredevil's going to fly across the map to this tomb, or to this temple, grab the ring. Are you also going to grab the magic pants?
I'm not going to grab the magic pants.
Okay,
I do the safer one.
One of the strategies in this game involves grabbing a pair of magic pants, but it is not quite as marathon safe because it's possible for the magic pants to run out of charge and then you fall out of the sky and get stunned and have to take a nap.
Yeah, the basic idea is that they're these travel-worn pants that have levitate, but he's using a spell levitate instead.
You just saw him kill that NPC and then sit and wait for him to keel over. That's one of the ones you can get to this guy and he's like, you haven't killed the vampire yet. You're like, I definitely shot him in the head. And he's like, no, fly back and watch him die. And so you do. So we're on to the sequence with the my referred to lovingly as wizard politics, where you fly into people's houses, shoot them and watch them die. This part's definitely canon. And is really the fastest way. All of these people have quest chains. They need you to bribe them. They need you to talk to them. Or this also works and is an acceptable strategy through the Telvanni Hortator questline.
Mm-hmm.
The most acceptable strategy.
You're actually expected to. But he's also stopping by a couple of these Ashlander camps, and that's because he needs them to declare him the Nerevarine. That's part of the prophecy that he needs to fulfill. So he's doing what he needs to do, and teleporting from one place to another using specific teleportation methods. Basically, depending on where you are in the world, using different methods will take you to different places, and so it's all mapped out to be very efficient. Now, this is the one thing you cannot skip as far as fetch or escort quests.
Escort quests.
Oh my god, this escort quest is where personal bests and world records go to die.
Yep.
This kid has to follow you. You've enchanted him with your spell to make him ludicrously fast, but that doesn't make him able to walk around things. So if we are unlucky here, we will see him walk into a randomly patrolling guard and just get stuck and just freak out here in the middle of the room. And the only
we
way
got good RNG.
We got really good guard RNG. Yeah, you're
nice
there. Yo, it's like a 30+ second time save if you get the good RNG on the guard patrols.
I've lost 45 before to that.
Oh no. It is funny because he'll just be there in the middle of the room walking at high speed into like the fence, but he doesn't actually go anywhere. So this is, once you've saved the kid, everyone in this town, everyone in Aldrune loves you, except for one person who is going to challenge you to a duel. He doesn't know we've been cheating, so he thinks it's going to be a fair fight. A spoiler alert, it won't be. That's coming up in a minute, though. For now, it's just fly through the crab shell, check in Red Rune Hortator, fly to another unmarked door, dodge the carpet that for some unguessable reason has a clipping zone so you can get stuck in it. Say Red Rune Hortator, repeat.
Yeah, and the one guy who is not cooperative is actually the same guy who kidnapped the person you had to rescue earlier. Shocking. He's not being very nice in many ways. But yeah, he
Really my
does.
favorite NPC in this game, by the way. I love his swag.
He does not realize that you have thousands of strength, agility, luck, and everything. So even if we did try to give him a chance to get off a kill, he'd just kind of sit there swinging and missing because you're just that lucky and that dodgy.
I mean, that is the authentic Morrowind experience.
Yeah.
Sure is.
Except it's the NPCs missing you instead of you missing the NPCs constantly.
Yeah, so something worth pointing out about Morrowind when you're not speedrunning is that this game has a baked-in dice rolling system. So when you swing at someone, it checks your stats and your weapon skill and rolls a dice, basically. And there is a chance that even though your weapon goes right through them, that the game will trigger a miss, which won't happen on this run because we have like 3,000 of every stat, basically, out of 100. So, but it is an iconic piece of Morrowind gameplay, is repeatedly missing something you've hit. And so that's how we know how these NPCs feel trying to fight Daredevil.
Also, we just got the plague. No big deal. We'll get it cured in a bit. But first, got some other stuff to do along the way because, well, it's on the way. More people dying here because, well, the guy who will be nice to you and name you Nerevarine is not the Ashcan. And the wise woman kind of wants him to be the Ashcan, so you have to kill the current Ashcan and his cronies. We already know we need to do that, so we're gonna do it in the efficient order and kill them first. So that's all intended. But yeah, now that's one more Ashlander quest down.
We tell the guy we killed all his friends and he needs to wear their clothing, and then he names us the Neverrain. So now it's time to go get Corpus cured. And this split is this split's a whole lot because this zone is clipping hell. There are so many. So when you're going really fast, the more polygons an object has, the more likely you are to get stuck in it. And these like swoopy mushroom towers, the curvy walls, the Chinese paper lanterns, they all have a bunch of polygons for a game from 2002. So it's really easy to get just wedged in one. And if that wasn't enough, this zone also has a bugged out warp plane, bounding plane. So if you fly out of bounds too far in most of this zone, you'll actually get to a flashing black screen. You'll get your cursor flashing on a black screen. And it's not a soft lock, but it's pretty close to one. So flying through Telfir is a harrowing experience, but Daredevil has done it in style, as always.
Yeah, Telfir is the worst. I hate it when running. Casually, it's fine, I guess.
I mean, even casually, it's a bit of a maze. It's kind of hard to tell exactly where you're at.
That was Cannon, that guy we just shot.
Yeah.
He's in Skyrim. That NPC reappears in Skyrim, although apparently not anymore.
He's dead. In one of the DLCs. So, I mean, this is a timeline, supposedly.
Oh, so here's the last use of the shoes. This is actually how they were discovered. So this lady has an endless escort quest to take her back to get married. And the escort quest used to be able to be overridden by using the command humanoid spell and walking her down a very specific hallway, nowhere near her husband. But it was still long. And so in trying to experiment in how to skip that quest chain, we unintentionally discovered the shoe glitch, which lets runners skip every escort quest except for that one. So it's a nice improvement.
It's especially nice for the Ahamusa, I think it is, the ones in the farthest northeast.
Yes, the Ahamusa. That one is so
Oh,
bad
no.
to do casually.
Yeah, this lady needs you to escort her up to this island, and she can walk on water, thank God. But it's an eternal slog, like across the north end of the map.
And also, everyone in there is hostile.
Yeah, and you get her through this hostile base. You take her past these literal demons, and she says, "This looks like a nice, safe place to move my tribe. Thank you."
Luckily, we get to skip all of that.
With the power
tribe's
of
good where they
friendship
are.
and magic shoes. One of my other favorite moments in the game coming right up. In this next house we're going to, they load 2 different houses in the same cell. So Daredevil's going to go through one door and fly left through the void and be in another house in order to get the quest he needs.
Optimization.
Save memory space. Yeah. Why go through the right door when you can go through the wrong door faster? But so this whole sequence is part of becoming the one of the Hortators, becoming the Hlalu Hortator. And all these NPCs need to be checked in with. If you don't, there's a later split in which we have to talk to 3 key NPCs, and based on their dialogue, we'll know whether or not we have successfully done all the checkpoints. It's kind of the final check for all main quests. And that's where, if you haven't shot somebody properly or if you haven't talked to the right person, that's where you find out. We're going to go fishing.
There's some math involved in fishing. 2 + 4 = 6.
It's good math. You can clip through this door. It's super inconsistent and loses you about 3 seconds, so you should just take a nap instead, unless you're really bad at subtraction.
Naps are good.
Naps are key. So now is the part we check in, where Daredevil's going to check in with the 3 key NPCs, one from each faction, who are going to basically let him know if he's... This one's going to let him know if he successfully killed everybody. She's hanging out in this attic with a naked Khajiit. Children, hide your eyes. We're safe.
It's okay. They're wearing diapers.
Are they? Or is it just Ken doll? The next one is is this one? Yeah, whose kid we saved. And then the last one wants us to give him a kiss. And if you've done those 3 and they all of those dialogues fire correctly, you know that you've beaten all main quests and you're back on track to meet with God, kill the final boss, and not kill the final boss, break the heart of Lorcan to destroy his evil mecha in the heart of Red Mountain, which is sort of like killing him, and beat the game. So those are those 3, and it's just now meet with Archcanon, who's going to knock wood, give the dialogue we need. Yup. Blink and you'll miss him. Here's the mighty god Vivek. And we're on to the very end of the run.
So those items that he's been using for a while and got him all those stats, he still has them, and now he finally has the piece of equipment that he needs to safely equip them, and nowhere near enough health to survive equipping that thing. But
he's also actually finally been given the quest to go find them.
Uh-huh.
So this is the final dungeon in the game.
Time's coming up.
Time's coming up fast. It's a labyrinth full of some of the highest level enemies in the game. This is the final boss. He's got an incredible voice actor. We're not going to really get to hear him. But shout outs to Degathur.
Time.
GG.
That was Test 3
No
Morrowind.
longer bear the burden of prophecy.
Nice.
That was the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. And you can hear several pieces of dialogue at once just because I go through that ending part so fast in the Heart Chamber. But yeah, that was a whirlwind tour of Morrowind. We are fairly behind schedule, so I'm just going to keep this quickly. Big shout out to Zabogo and LK47, my co-commentators. Shout out to the rest of the Elder Scrolls community, especially the Morrowind community, with Volvulus, Wesley, MTR, let's see, Mosquito Alchemist, I believe, as well as everyone else who helped route this game. And yeah, of course, shout out to Midnight Vesper and RGB Esports for hosting this marathon. That's going to do it for me. Hope you all enjoy the rest of the marathon.
Yeah, thank you so much for showcasing that run. That was fantastic. And we have a couple more runs left for the rest of the night. Coming up next is going to be Blues Brothers 2000 by DJ Bunyan. It's going to be super fun. We'll see you in a minute.